learn more of Sarin history, and what better way to learn of that history than from those who have survived it. From Damon Baird, survivor of the Kilo Squad.
Welcome back to another episode of the Kilo Squad Survival Journal, the field notes of Damon Baird. Last episode, we introduced Sophia Hendrick, an Onyx Guard cadet who has joined Kilo Squad, but we did not go into why, who she was attached to. You see, today we will introduce the latest addition to Kilo Squad, who Sophia has been assigned to, and someone who has been a fan favorite since he stepped on our screens in Gears of War Judgment, making his triumphant return in Gears 5. We start today with a letter, as we always have. Hi, Mom and Dad. Well, I guess I was a little too optimistic about that. I finished my water and hardtack lunch, and as I have the day largely to myself, I suppose it's time to continue my letter writing as promised. Our mystery guest and final Kilo member is Garen Paddock. Yep, Paddock. A Grozny name. Somewhere I hear a body rolling. I'm fighting shoulder to shoulder with a UIR major. Guy was a sniper, real hardcore, mountains, skinned animals, all the good stuff. Looking at the guy, you believe it too, mostly because half of his face is burned off. Remember the light mask testing? Turns out it was a little more than that. This guy claims that the supposedly unsuccessful light mask missile wiped out most of a city in Goraznaya. Burned them where they stood, he says. I started to call him out on what sounded like bullshit, but then I remembered I am still in possession of the entirety of my face. I haven't been able to get much else out of him. He doesn't seem to like the COG very much. I guess I can't blame him. Last I checked, the Grozny are still technically at war with us. Even though the UIR pals buried the hatchet at the first sign of the hammer, from what I hear and from the look on Paddock's face from time to time, I don't think there are many Grozny left. The report says that a naval patrol found Paddock floating in the ocean. I assume he was in a boat. Command didn't know what to do with him. Here's this half-faced, unapologetic enemy combatant who doesn't feel like talking much about anything, who a naval patrol fished out of the drink. They can't throw him back. They can't really punish him, provided he had paid for his beach tags, so they did what the COG does. They processed him and made him one of their own. They're calling it the Open Arms Program. Any former UIR soldier who wants to fight shoulder to shoulder with the victorious COG is welcome to enlist. Codicil, you lose your rank and start back over as a private. Hell, that's probably for the best. I can't imagine a Grozny and a Gear trying to agree on strategy. It's hard to say whether or not this program is going to work. Paddock is the first applicant. He's been through an accelerated version of boot at one of the barracks nearby and is at least 10 years my senior, but he somehow looks both more and less tired than us. He doesn't talk much. When he does, he's got a clear accent. Not hard to understand, but everything about him screams enemy to me. I can't help it. I'm a child of the Pendulum Wars. I was raised thinking this guy wanted to set fire to my house and raid my fridge for dessert. He's supposed to hate me for being freer than he is, for being happier than he is, for having more and better opportunities. In the flesh, this particular Grozny seems like he needs a few beers and some time in a steam room. But mention the Locust and the guy is on his feet. I don't quite know what they did to him, but it must have been worse than that chunk of face he's missing. He sure hates the grubs a lot more than he hates me. So that's the four of us, me in the lead, Cole riding shotgun, and the Indian the cadet in the rear. Wars have been fought with stranger squads, I'm sure, but not lately. Then again, there hasn't ever been this strange of an enemy. Maybe we're perfect in some way. No one's thought of it yet. Signed, Damon. On the first page of his letter, you can actually see Paddock staring down a headshot on the beast rider in the distance. Calm, cool, collected. Whoever the photographer of this photo was wasn't much worried because there's a wretch so very close to Paddock hiding just beyond the sandbags trying to crawl over them. Paddock still seems completely at ease, still completely sane, and with purpose he will achieve that headshot, come hell or high water. Here we see a picture of Garen Paddock. You can see the scars coming off of the side of his mouth, his neck showing the same burns. He still wears a shoulder plate and breastplate that looks like a UIR special, but the belt has definitely been upgraded to COG regalia. He's stern, for he was a major. He's seen war before, and as so many know, war never really changes. We see his enlistment sheet, which I will now read off some of the more appropriate things to note. He gives a name, Garen Paddock. They don't know if he's married. They don't know if he has any children. He was in a detention center at Halvo Bay. For aptitude, the only one that they actually got out of him was that he's a stubborn old mule. None of his aptitude results are available, except for persuasiveness, which he's not very good at persuading others or being persuaded. He ranks very low on that, just a 31, but the rest of his aptitude results remained hidden. There is no suggested placement for a man who is as stubborn as he is, for a man who used to be an enemy, and not just an enemy, but a high-ranking one who survived the Pendulum Wars, the Hammer Strike, and a light mass testing. Let us just take a look at the notes, though, that were added. Subject refused all testing other than testing regarding persuasion. Subject demanded results at end of test and was visibly shocked by result. Subject assigned to 4th Ephira Light Infantry, Kilo. His commanding officer would be Damon Baird. His attaché would be Sophia Hendrick, the young Onyx Guard cadet that we met. And as we flip over, you can see, pasted below that same picture, is a timeline on a piece of propaganda released by the COG, how we won the Pendulum Wars. Museum of Military Glory, Storm 10 to Harvest 14. Before E-Day 37, the Ostry Front. Before E-Day 17, 20 years later, the Kashgar Front. Fall of Madurat, Siege of Anvil Gate, Battle of Shavad, Battle of Ragani. UIR, Occupation of Vaskar. Raid on Gralia. Before Emergence 4, 13 years later, raids on the Akatsu Emulsion Fields, Battle of Aroma Island. The next year, Sarfirth-Marande border incident, the Battle of Asfo Fields. Then, the year before Emergence Day, the skirmish in Gato City, Battle of Bonborg, skirmish on Furlin Cliffside, armistice between the UIR and the COG. And unknown to when it happens on this timeline, the Battle of Branascu, Bombardment of Mercy, Conquest of the South Islands, Eastern Front, Bombing of Sikorla, Battle of Otrin, Battle of Burifus, Third Battle of Plateau. That will end today's lesson, today's entry on Garen Paddock. I truly appreciate all of you for joining me on this journey through the field notes, the personal journal of Damon Baird. If you like this kind of content, please leave a like, subscribe, share it. Leave a comment telling me what you do or do not like, and I will happily engage. I hope you join me again tomorrow, where we will talk of that same light mass bomb that Paddock references in this entry. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Colin the Crow Clark is signing out.